So let's start with this first statement. Assembly language was the only way programmers could express themselves several decades ago. But these days, as we have said, we can express our ideas in high-level language or even in natural language, and then use generative AI to help us translate those ideas down to assembly and then finally machine language. So it perhaps seems that these days nobody would program in assembly. It seems very, very hard to program in assembly. And it's true, it is very hard to program in assembly. But this sentence is false. It turns out that some programmers, a very specialized or niche set of programmers, do program in assembly. They do this for very specialized tasks, often because some piece of code can only be optimized to run really, really fast using the skills of these very elite programmers. So the number of programmers that really program in assembly is very small, but the statement that there are no humans that write assembly is not true. It's a very, very specialized skill set. The second question: there's no need to learn this C programming language that was from the 1970s. Yes, it's true that the C programming language was developed several decades ago in the 1970s, but many real-world programs are written in C. The need for C programmers continues today. New programs are written in C. As we will see, the modern programming language Python is internally written in C, at least in some implementations. And so the people who are developing these new features in Python are writing C code. So for that reason, C is a vibrant programming language, even though it is many decades old, and even though there are many challenges with the C programming language. We will explore some of these challenges in the course later on. Coming to this third question, many instructors believe that students should not be exposed to tools like IDEs. They feel that if you really want to learn programming, you must do it the hard way. You must write it, let's say, in a simple notepad or something as basic or simplistic as that. And I feel this is incorrect. In the real world, all professional software developers use IDEs. They use them to help them express their ideas quickly. Yes, the tools do provide hints. Those hints are often simple recall facts that the programmer may or may not remember at that moment. For the IDE to jump in with suggestions, with hints, often helps the programmer stay in a state of flow. They can take their ideas and rapidly produce code. This can be a very joyful experience. Programming without the help of an IDE can be extremely frustrating. So on balance, most people now believe that IDEs are extremely helpful for students. I strongly encourage you not to program using just a simple notepad. Do explore IDEs. They're extremely helpful. They will make the task of programming much easier for you and also more joyful. The fourth question is similar to the third, but it's in some sense an extension. So generative AI is extremely powerful. We will see lots of examples through this course. And many educators are deeply concerned that if our students rely on these tools to an excessive degree, then their understanding will be very shallow, will be very fragile. And it's not just educators who believe this. Here is a quote from one of the early papers that OpenAI put out, demonstrating how powerful code generation with some of these generative AI tools can be. And in one of the sections of their paper, they explicitly highlight the key risks that novice programmers face, beginner programmers face. They do recognize that these students could end up over-relying on generative AI, on the outputs produced by generative AI. As an educator, I totally recognize these concerns. My response, however, is that we can help our students develop a critical mindset, the ability to not just blindly accept whatever the generative AI is producing, but to analyze it with a critical eye. This skill, the ability to critique code, is something that we will spend considerable time on in this course. We must develop this skill because, as we have seen, AI can sometimes make mistakes, and we humans have to be there ready to catch those errors when they happen.